Hello friend, Nathan here, and today I'm going to teach you how to blatantly steal other musicians' ideas without losing any sleep at night as your conscience slowly eats away at what little remains of your artistic integrity. I'm just kidding. Well, kind of. Whether you're making your own guitar arrangements or composing your own music, we often run into these scenarios where you're repeating the same melody over and over, but you want to change things up in some way to keep things interesting and throw in some creative variations. So I always have this running list of ideas and techniques that I can use to create these variations in any given arrangement. I could play the melody with tremolo or in harmonics. I could play some intense arpeggios underneath or add some percussion. It's so important to have this musical toolbox, so to speak, that you can open up and rummage around in for ideas to help jumpstart your creativity, especially when you're not feeling super inspired. And that's why I want to share some of these ideas with you so that you can add them to your own musical toolbox. Now, some of the ideas that I've added to my toolbox over the years are more original, and some are very clearly inspired by other guitarists and composers. Case in point, let's look at this section from my recent arrangement of the Davy Jones theme from Pirates of the Caribbean. Some of you immediately caught on to what I was doing in this section. Prelude No. 1 by Heitor Villa-Lobos is one of the staples of the classical guitar repertoire. It's almost impossible to get any formal training in classical guitar without encountering the music of Villa-Lobos and this prelude specifically. Prelude No. 1 is instantly recognizable with this beautiful cello-like melody in the bass line and the distinctive sound of these repeated droning chord tones up above. Now, after hearing that prelude, you can definitely hear how obvious the inspiration was for that section of my arrangement, and that was intentional. I like to throw in these little Easter eggs in my arrangements that not everybody's necessarily going to pick up on, but when the idea struck, I thought it'd be a really cool way to pay homage, in a way, to Villa-Lobos. For this arrangement, it was almost too easy because both of these pieces literally share the same first few melody notes. Right? For the Davy Jones arrangement, I just changed up the accompaniment a little bit to be played in triplets instead. So I think this whole shared melody was what caused this idea to strike me in the first place, but you can recreate the same general sound and effect with almost any melody. I call it, appropriately, the Villa-Lobos Effect, and I'm going to show you how to recreate it so you can add it to your own musical toolbox for variation ideas in your own arrangements or compositions. Now, before we dive in here, if you want to start making your own classical or fingerstyle guitar arrangements, but you don't really know where to get started, you should take my free training, Fretboard Freedom, where I teach you how to find and play chords anywhere across the fretboard. For arrangements where you're trying to play melodies and chords simultaneously, you need the freedom to be able to build chords anywhere so you can follow the melody wherever it takes you across the fretboard. And in the training, I teach you exactly that and break it down nice and simply for you. Again, it's completely free. Just follow the link down below or go to beyondtheguitar.com to check it out. All right, let's take a look at how to recreate this Villa-Lobos effect with a completely different melody. We'll take a look at a classic, Mary Had a Little Lamb. Now, there are a few key components in the music that we need to alter to recreate this Villa-Lobos effect and its distinctive sound. Number one, we need to give the melody a waltz rhythm. Now, what I mean by this is we need to change to a 3/4 time signature in which the melody notes are being played on beats 1 and 3. Let me show you. Mary Had a Little Lamb is normally in a very even 4/4 time signature like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So to convert that into a 3/4 time signature with that waltz rhythm, we need to play it like this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So you can hear I'm counting in groups of 3 now, and I'm only playing the melody on beats 1 and 3. The same rhythm as the melody from the Villa-Lobos Prelude number 1. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. All right, second key component. We need to play the melody primarily on the 4th and 5th strings. So to make this work, I might need to drop the melody down an octave. Otherwise, I'm just gonna look and see where I can find those same notes further down the fretboard, again, primarily on the 4th and 5th strings, or the D and A strings instead. Now, if you need to play a note or two on the 3rd string, that's not a deal breaker, but again, the goal here is to play most of the melody notes on the 4th and 5th strings. This accomplishes a couple things. Number one, these lower strings and this higher region of the fretboard give us that more cello-like tone, which is such a crucial part of that iconic Villa-Lobos sound. And second, it frees up our higher strings for our next component, which is play the chords above the melody. We spend most of our time playing our melodies as the highest notes in the mix, right? In that top voice where the chords and accompanying harmonies are down below. Right? But the Villa-Lobos effect flips this upside down. You can still play bass notes below the melody, but the accompanying chords are going to be played up above the melody on the 1st, 2nd, and or 3rd strings. So for our example here, Mary Had a Little Lamb starts with an A major chord, which consists of the notes A, C sharp, and E. So I'm gonna see where I can find those notes on the strings up above my melody note here. So I can play A in the bass, C sharp is already in the melody, so I can play another A here on the B string, and then an E on the 3rd string or G string here. Then we switch to an E major chord here, which consists of the notes E, G sharp, and B. So I can play an E in the bass. I've got a B as the melody note here, so I can grab another E on the 3rd string here, and a G sharp on the 2nd string. Now, if you're wondering how I knew what notes to use to build those chords and how I found them up here near the melody, that's exactly what I teach in my free training, Fretboard Freedom. So after you finish this video, after you give it all the likes and subscribes, go to beyondtheguitar.com, or again, follow the link down below to take the training for yourself. All right, final component to recreate this Villa-Lobos effect: repeat the chord tones in between melody notes. This gives us that droning, repetitive, driving rhythm of those higher chord tones that completes that distinctive sound of the Villa-Lobos effect. So in between every melody note, I'm repeating those chord tones at an 8th note rhythm. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. Okay? Or you can change it up for a little rhythmic variation on this effect and do like what I did in the Davy Jones arrangement and play those at a triplet rhythm instead. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a. So with all these components together, here's our full variation for Mary Had a Little Lamb using the Villa-Lobos effect. And there you have it. By including and tweaking these few key elements, you can use the Villa-Lobos effect as a variation for a wide range of different melodies. So I hope this gives you some ideas for your future arrangements and compositions. Add this to your musical toolbox, and when you need some creative ideas to add variety to your melodies, this could come in handy. Let me know in a comment if you plan on using the Villa-Lobos effect in the future. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button to let me know and to encourage the YouTube algorithm to show it to more people. Make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell on so you never miss future videos. And as always, here's to making the music you love and making it on your own terms. All right, we'll see you in the next one.